Hello, and welcome back. In the last video lecture, we took a look at the emergence of monotheistic religions in the Middle East. Today, we will do the same for the polytheistic religions and philosophies that emerged in Asia. We begin with Hinduism. The roots of Hinduism begin in India around the year 1500 BCE. The roots of Hinduism lie in an earlier tradition called Vedism, and the teachings found in the book, the Rig Veda. The Rig Veda describes how there is one universal world soul called Brahman, and that all creatures want to reunite with it. This reunification was achieved through a cycle of life, death, and reincarnation, called samsara. The Rig Veda also establishes a very rigid social hierarchy called the caste system. There are four main castes or classes. The highest is the priestly class called the Brahmins. Next are the ruling and military caste known as the Kshatriyas, followed by the merchant class known as the Vaishyas. The next class are the Shudras, who are the manual laborers. Another group called the Dalits are considered so low that they are outside of the caste system. They are better known as untouchables, and they perform the dirtiest and most menial work. To be reincarnated into a higher caste, one has to have good karma, which happens if you follow the rules of your caste, called dharma. If you don't, then you will be reincarnated into a lower caste. Eventually, you will reach enlightenment and be reunited with Brahman. In addition to the four main gods in the Hindu tradition, Brahman, of course, Vishnu the preserver, Shiva the destroyer, and Shakti the mother, Hindus recognize tens of thousands of lesser deities. Traditional Hindu religion is very patriarchal. Women could not be reunited with Brahman, and they were the legal guardians of their husbands. Women had no property rights, many marriages were arranged, and women could not get a divorce. The most extreme form of patriarchy in traditional Hinduism was the sati ritual, in which wives were expected to throw themselves on the burning funeral pyres of their deceased husbands. This ritual and the caste system have since been outlawed in India. Another major religion that arose in India was Buddhism. The rise of Buddhism begins with an Indian prince named Siddhartha Gautama, who lived somewhere around the year 500 BCE. According to Buddhist history, the young prince led a sheltered life, but as he got older, he discovered that there was much suffering in the world. He set out on a journey to discover the meaning and answer to suffering. When he figured out the truth, 4 of them to be exact, he became the enlightened one, also known as the Buddha, and he began to teach and gather followers. Buddha taught that there were 4 noble truths. Number 1, life is suffering. Number 2, the cause of suffering is desire. Number 3, to end suffering, one must free themselves of desire. And 4, to free yourself from desire, you must follow the Eightfold Path. The Eightfold Path are the habits and practices that will lead one to enlightenment or nirvana. Buddhism shares some beliefs with Hinduism, including reincarnation and karma, but it rejects the caste system. After Buddha's death, Buddhism continued to spread throughout India, especially with the help of the Mauryan Indian Emperor Ashoka. Buddhism spread throughout the rest of Asia as Buddhist merchants traveled throughout China. Like other religions, Buddhism also developed several variations, including Theravada, Mahayana, and Tibetan Buddhism. It is still a major philosophy in China and other parts of Asia and is practiced throughout the world today. Speaking of China, during the Zhou dynasty, go back to lecture number 2 to recall the Zhou dynasty, which ruled China from around 1122 to 221 BCE, China was in a state of disarray and fighting. During this time, many philosophers began to think about ways to bring order and stability to the region. So many thinkers thought about this that it was known as the 100 Schools of Thought period. During this time, many philosophies emerged that offered a way to bring social harmony to China. You need to be familiar with 3 of them. We begin with Confucianism. This philosophy is based on the teachings of a government administrator by the name of Confucius, who lived somewhere between 551 and 479 BCE. Confucius lived through a period of chaos and war, and he tried to think of ways to achieve harmony throughout Chinese society. He wrote down his teachings in a book called The Analects. Confucius taught that everyone exists in relation to others, and for social harmony to be achieved, people needed to respect those relationships. While Confucianism follows a strict social hierarchy, it is not a simple matter of just obeying the people above you on the social ladder. The people above have a responsibility to treat the people below them with respect and fairness. This was true in society, in government, and in families. Speaking of families, another major teaching of Confucianism is filial piety, which means respect for one's parents and ancestors. Confucianism would go on to influence China throughout its long history. Quite different from Confucianism is the philosophy of legalism. While Confucianism relies on the idea that people are basically good, legalism takes the opposite approach. It assumes that people are basically bad, and in order to get them to behave properly, they need to be subjected to strict laws and harsh punishments. The third philosophy that emerged from the 100 schools of thought is Taoism. Sometimes you might find it spelled Taoism. The central figure in the development of Taoism is Lao Tse, and sometimes he's spelled Laozi. However it's spelled, he lived somewhere around 600 BCE. He is said to have first taught the ideas of Taoism, which are found in the book the Tao Te Ching. The Tao, or the Tao, is the way, or the force that governs the universe. Taoists attempt to live in harmony with nature and the universe. If everyone is in harmony with themselves, then society will be harmonious. This famous symbol of Taoism, the yin-yang, represents the universe in balance. There you have it. This concludes the 2 video lectures on major religions and philosophies. I only provided some historical and geographic context to their emergence and some of their basic beliefs. But as I said, if you have a basic understanding of these religions, it will help you learning history going forward. Take care.